I'm not sure what to do in this situation. Should I give things one last shot? 3 weeks ago, I went on a social hike and ended up hitting it off with a girl who was new to town. She was from another country, had just finished her master's degree in a different state, and moved here for work. We talked the whole time. She showed me pictures on her phone and asked about other hikes in the area. She didn't have a car yet because she had just moved and had taken an Uber to the event. Towards the end, I offered to give her a lift home. When I dropped her off, I failed to get her number because it was an abrupt goodbye since it was a gated neighborhood and I couldn't park. Later that week, I looked her up on a professional social site based on her name and our conversations. Not ideal, I know, but I figured why not take the chance? It was unlikely I would see her again. She responded positively, and I invited her to 2 more hikes over the long weekend. She gave me her number and agreed to both of them. The first hike was a group hike. We talked a lot, but it ended abruptly as others wanted to wrap it up early. When we got back to my car, she looked a little disappointed and hesitant. I asked if she wanted to walk around a bit more, and she did. We ended up walking and talking for another hour and a half in the evening before heading back. She's very into the outdoors, loves exploring, and enjoys going to quiet places in nature. It's rare that I meet someone I really resonate with on that level. She kept asking about future hikes and asked me if I've ever been stargazing. The second hike the next day was just the 2 of us. I changed plans and mentioned walking along the river because it was shaded, and the initial hike I had suggested had a bit of rock climbing, which I didn't know if she was up for, and was going to be too hot. It wasn't great. There were way too many mosquitoes, so after a few minutes, I suggested we try out a different trail. We drove to a different trail that was about 15 minutes away, and it ended up being a nice evening. Very picturesque at sunset. She mentioned really liking the area. Anyway, I thought it went well all things considered, but when I dropped her off that evening, I mentioned doing something the next weekend, and she told me, "I'm not sure if I'm free over the weekend, but I'll let you know." I texted the following Friday with an open invitation, and she was too busy that weekend. I told her no worries, to have a nice weekend. Then I texted an open invite for her to join our group hikes in the future, but the way I phrased it could have been better. I also mentioned in the open invitation that the organizer of the weekly hikes wanted to invite her as well. I probably shouldn't have, but I wanted to make her feel welcome either way. She responded later with an enthusiastic yes and said she would like to join whenever possible. I also later noticed that she looked at my profile that day. I know she doesn't have a car at the moment, so joining the events would mean she would have to ask for a ride or take an Uber. I figured I would give her space and left it at that. I didn't text back because I felt that would be too much. It's possible she changed her mind and that was a rejection. It's also possible she's new to town and really was busy that weekend. We met 3 times in 1 week and talked nonstop every time, and we kept discussing future plans. I felt like there was a connection there and at least some initial interest. It's been a week since her last text, and I feel like I should give it one last shot before giving up, but I'm not sure what to say. Asterisk, I feel I should add that I'm not a big texter. I use it for setting up plans, but hate having conversations through text. I'm good in person but terrible at texting, and I think that can send mixed signals to people who text a lot.